Okay, so basically, I went on Snapchat and I went to the For You section and I was just looking around to see, what it is that Snapchat had for me. And I stumbled upon an article, I guess you can say. Now, the article was posted by graduates, I think. And so the first picture said, I'm a 13-year-old dad. My initial thoughts were, how is this possible? Because when I was 13, I was still trying to learn how to tie my shoes. I would go outside and play with mud sometimes. GTA 5 had just come out, so I was grinding on that. Whatever. Point is, I was a regular 13-year-old. I was playing video games. Now this kid, all right, let's just get into it. Right. So the first thing says, most people believe that the birth of a child is a miracle, whether their circumstance, but when the child is born to parents who are themselves children, matters can become more complicated. For Alfie PATTEN, this kid's name is Alfie. His name kind of sets himself up to be a father already, so. For Alfie Patton, this complicated situation became his life when he found out that he would become a father aged only 13. What? And so the next screenshot, we continue reading. We get introduced to the girlfriend, and I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like what I'm seeing. Anyways, Alfie's girlfriend of 15 told him that she was pregnant when he himself was only 12. The kid was 12. Imagine being 12 years old and waking up one day, being named Alfie, and your 15-year-old girlfriend, you must think you're quite hard if you have a girlfriend that age, right? You're 12. Okay, never mind. Look, she looks okay, never mind. And then being told you're a father. 12 years old. So obviously, to the surprise, reporters and newspaper branded Alfie the UK's youngest father, but unfortunately for Alfie, there was a lot more to the story than that. No shit. He's 12. Alright, so then we get a little bit of insight into Alfie's life. He had a mom and a dad, loved them very much. He spent first 12 years, blah, blah, blah. At 12 years old, it was time for Alfie to leave his primary school. At just 4'4", he was hopeful for the future, and had no idea about the path his life would take. Alright, so this kid is going to what, high school? Wait, 12 years old. What? Whoa. I don't understand why did they have to put his height in? I don't understand why they had to put his height in.
Hello, sire.
Oh my god. What, Steven? What? For those of you that don't know, Steven is my artificial intelligence that I create. I program him into a furry, and he just walks around and just talks. Anyways, as I was saying, I'm not quite sure as to why they included that he was 4'4". Doesn't really matter.
You're short too.
Yo, can you stop? Next subject, growing up. As Alfie reached the end of his primary school career, he began to show signs that he was growing up a little. He was still young at heart, but Alfie was keen to be grown up and hang out with new people. Right, blah, blah. Alright, so then it just goes on to say that he was growing up. He had he was forced to make new friends, blah, blah, blah. Oh, okay, so he was a popular young boy and had a lot of friends to play with. When playing outside of school, Alfie began to brush shoulders with kids that were older than him. And then we get a beautiful picture of the 4'4" lad. And so we get more insight as to who he was. He liked hanging out with teenagers instead of kids, but he didn't always understand what they were talking about, because he's 12. And interest in girls. Jesus, this kid is 12. The more time Alfie spent with the older kids, the more he began to notice the other girls around him. He'd never really been interested in girls before, but he was reaching an age where he became more intrigued by the blah, blah, blah. And then an amazing ad just blocks whatever I had screenshotted. Great. He never really had a girlfriend, but Alfie was starting to see why his older friends spent so much time talking about them. Alfie began to think that it would be nice to have a girlfriend, or maybe even a first kiss. 12. Around this time, Alfie started spending time with Chantel. Right, and I guess so now we get introduced to the mother of the child. It's quite a sight. It really is. Around this time, Alfie started spending time with Chantel. Chantel had always been around and was a family friend of Alfie's and his family, but they never really spent much time together, blah, blah. Chantel was 3 years older than Alfie, but the two quickly became besotted? With what? Besotted? Strongly infatuated. Intoxicated. He became besotted with his best friend's sister. In love with. Alright, so they were in love. And so this is, oh my god, this is a baby. This is a child next to oh, what is that? I don't mean to be offensive in any kind of way, but whatever, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Chantel was Alfie's first girlfriend, and according to Chantel, she had never been with any other boys. Now, we all know that this is a lie, right? We know how girls are, right? Thoughts. Lying thoughts. I'm already predicting the future, I bet. She was with two other guys. One of them was named Kyle, and the other one was named Forrest. That's just fact. you can't argue that. It's fact. Anyways, despite their age difference, the two were a happy couple and loved spending time together. Alfie even stayed over at Chantel's house from time to time. And so this is when the shocking news came. One day after Alfie and Chantel had been dating for a while, Alfie was getting ready to go out to play with his friends. Play! 12! He knew that Chantel would be there and was excited to see her. It was a day like any other, and Alfie could never have expected what was coming next. When he went out into the street to play, Chantel approached Alfie and told him that she had some news. How did I wish I could have been there. I wish I could. That's when she dropped a bombshell and informed Alfie that he was going to be a father in less than a month? What? Alright, Chantel is doing some shady shit for sure, alright? There's no way around that. And the next subject line is no understanding, which is, kind of what I'm thinking. I'm baffled by this. When Chantel first told Alfie the news, he had no idea what to think. No shit. He's 12. He had no inkling. Did I say that right? He had no that Chantel had been pregnant for nearly 8 months and considered what he would do next. He asked Chantel more questions to confirm that he was definitely the father, and she said yes. Alfie thought that it would be unfair to question Chantel anymore about it, so he headed home and tried to think of a way to tell his parents about what had happened. Telling his parents, it took a while for the news to really sink in for Alfie. He didn't know anything about babies and wasn't really sure how to approach the topic with his mom. He decided to bite the bullet and tell his mom the truth. When she found out, she was devastated. She told reporters his voice hadn't even broken. Then he told me he was going to be a dad. Yo, oh my, how? Both of his parents were in shock about the whole situation, and when they asked Alfie for more details, he would clam up and avoid the topic. I don't understand. Like, surely they could have simply asked Alfie, did you clap her cheeks? Like, did you clap? That's it. They could have definitely avoided this whole damn situation. But we all know that Chantel, the thotty woman, the thotty girl that she is, she just wanted clout. That's pretty much, she just wanted attention. There's no, the due date. Alfie and his family had only found out about Chantel's pregnancy a month before her due date, so they hastily prepared for the baby's birth. How do you not realize she's pregnant for 8 months? What does 8 months look like? This is what 8 months looks like. How could you not tell that this? I just don't understand. I don't know, maybe I'm not educated, whatever. I'm not a doctor. And then there's a picture of and Alfie's just my dude is just staring it down into his soul. He didn't really know much about how pregnancy and childbirth worked, but he wanted to meet his new baby and be a good dad. Good for Alfie. Finally, the day came and Chantel gave birth to a healthy baby girl. Alfie and Chantel named the baby Macy Roxanne and dotted over their new little girl at the hospital. There's a picture with our man Alfie. Man of the century. Look at this dude. Oh, look at little, what's her name? Maxine? Macy? Let's name her Maxine for now. Maxine. By the time that Maxine was born, the newspaper had caught wind of Alfie and Chantel's unique situation and wanted to report on the story as soon as possible. Reporters from tabloid newspaper arrived at the hospital. The couple took part in photo shoots with their new baby. Alfie was dubbed Britain's youngest dad, blah, blah. When news of Alfie's parenthood reached the government, oh, so you're saying this took time for the government to realize that a 12-year-old kid was a father. 12! It's casting doubts. Finally. The kid is 12. No shit. Casting doubts. As the story of Alfie and Chantel's pregnancy circulated in the local area, people began to cast doubts about whether or not Alfie was the real father. No shit. Again, a lot of people question whether Alfie was even old enough to father a child, as he didn't seem to have hit puberty yet. Look how pubescent this child look. His top lip hasn't even formed yet. He's a baby, he's a fetus. Tearful Alfie. I may not be Maxine's dad. So the story continues. Others insisted that the baby's father was actually another boy in the neighborhood. Fucking Kyle. That Chantel had also been with. Chantel hit back at the claims, stating, I love Alfie. The fuck? And then I kind of lost the article. And Snapchat's amazing advertisement just crashed the whole app. So, I just got the most screenshots that I could in, those 15 seconds. So then I had to look up the article online and I found it. So, despite Chantel's reassurance that Alfie was the father, rumors continued to circulate in the area. Two boys. My prediction was correct. I knew from the moment that I read that I had
Good job, sire.
You know what? Thank you, Steve. I'll take it this time. Thought. That is a thought. There's no other way around it. Thought.
Thought.
Steve. Alfie tried to ignore the claims and took Chantel's word that he was the father. At this point, Alfie was beginning to get used to the idea of being a dad and had spent lots of time caring for his newborn baby, Maxine. However, Alfie's parents couldn't ignore the fact that other boys were claiming to be the father in order to dispel any doubts. I guess they suggested to Alfie that they do a DNA test to find out who the real father was. At the time, Alfie didn't even know what a DNA test was. You know, again, this is a pubescent child. But after his mom explained, he agreed to go along with it. The other boys that were claiming to be Maxine's father were also invited to take part in the test. On the day of the test, Alfie nervously awaited the results. One of the other boys, Tyler, Kyle, basically, same thing, had given detailed account of the night he had spent with Chantel, and this made him very worried about what the outcome would be. So, alright, so this is what's happening. Kyle, about, 9 months ago, or a little bit over 9, maybe 10 months ago, was with this demon of a human, this abomination, this ugly source of, and he slept with her. They're still kids. After waiting anxiously in the test office, they were finally called back to hear the results. Unfortunately for Alfie, the test came back negative. He wasn't the father. Alfie immediately broke down in tears. According to his mom, he was absolutely hysterical. He burst out crying and then he ran out of the room. Okay, 12-year-old behavior. Good. That's normal. After Alfie had received the awful news, the truth began to emerge about who the father actually was, as many people had suspected the father was an older boy named Kyle Barker. Kyle was equally shocked to find out that he was the father, telling papers that he had only been with Chantel once. According to Tyler, the two didn't use any contraceptives, blah blah blah. Alright, he didn't strap. Right, so this kid Kyle impregnated Chantel, and then she decided to say that Alfie was the father. That's pretty much the story in 30 seconds. For Alfie and his mom, the shock of finding out the results was hard to bear. As soon as the results were announced, Alfie was stopped from seeing Maxine, and Chantel and her family moved out of the area. Alfie's mom couldn't believe that her poor son had gone through so much pain and hardship at such a young age. Once again, the newspapers wanted to report on the new developments, but this time the family were a little less keen to speak about the matter. Right, so basically, it just goes on to say that Alfie was sad because he had tight emotions. He felt like he was he had felt that he had strong paternal feelings toward Maxine, and so after the DNA test, he knew that he could no longer take care for his daughter, and he was heartbroken, confused, and depressed, all at 12. This kid was born, was a father, and he died. Basically, this is that's what I'm getting from this. Right, so now then I guess we fast forward 3 years later, and it says, when Alfie was 15, he and his mom decided to speak to the papers once again. They wanted to speak out about the effect of the situation and the media attention had on poor Alfie's life. They also had some even more shocking news to share. According to Alfie's mom, her son never actually had coitus with Chantel. His mom told papers that Alfie had been confused and simply accepted the idea that he was now a dad. So, it makes sense. He's 12. He didn't know how the fuck babies were made. Now, older and wiser, Alfie's a man now. Alfie's a man. Don't you ever come at Alfie's side where he's a man now. He's older and wiser. Alfie explained to his mom that he was a virgin, and he wanted to stay that way until he turned 18. Right, so naturally, we have to support a strong king. A virgin until he's 18. We respect that. Yo, whoa. Alfie's 18 now. Whoa. So what, is he a grandpa now? Alfie is now 18 and jobless, and he didn't do too well in school. In a recent interview, Alfie told reporters, it was the biggest mistake I've ever made, and it really affected me. You didn't do anything. I left school with no GCSEs, and I've never worked. I can't imagine how hard life would be if I had to be a father too. Alfie, my man, what are you doing with your life? Just hop on Fortnite, become a YouTuber, live lavish, sit back, relax, FaceTime Maxine once in a while. Just try not to have a baby. Not yet, alright? Just chill out. Hopefully things will brighten up for Alfie in the future, but for now, his story serves as an extremely sobering lesson to people everywhere. That's it. And then there's just some pictures of Alfie and his mother. And I don't really know if he's looking at me or if he's trying to look at Maxine. I can't tell. But yeah, that's basically it. Right, so thank you for clicking the video. Please like, subscribe, and please like and subscribe, basically. Yeah, thank you for coming. Please like and subscribe. Bye.